right. And for once, I did not write down the recap, but do this from memory. All right, last time, the Regulators returned to one of their sort of homes in Annexa, where a lot of their friends and Malcolm's fiancé were waiting. When they arrived, they discovered that a lot of people were shocked to see them, and Arget was irate with Malcolm when he arrived because they had believed him dead after he faked him and his father's death. The news had reached them almost immediately, and Malcolm neglected to write a letter ahead of time to let them know everything was okay. But Malcolm's father
I almost got hit by a vase.
All right, so Malcolm's father manages to defuse the situation a bit, and everybody goes about their day, but not before Klombach tells the party that they need to stick around for a little while, being somewhat cryptic about what he meant. So they spent the day in town. Mira and Echo headed out of town to check out a huntsman contract in a nearby town, or nearby village anyway, where she discovered evidence of a cave fisher that was kidnapping and likely eating some of the miners. She informed the town what they were dealing with and suggested they stay out of the mine for a little while she goes and gets backup and would come back the next day. The following morning, the party was whisked away to the under construction Fort Annexa, which they discovered was now the new secret base of the Holy Regulators, the spiritual successors to the Hellige Ridera, as well as the secret headquarters on this coast for the Order of the Crystal Eye. They were brought to the basement level, which the secret entrance had been slightly modified, along with the rest of the structure under the fort. And they were brought to a meeting with Jarl Rupert Wasser. I keep forgetting. You don't pronounce the V's in German. And they proceeded to have a meeting to update everyone on the plans of Palhas and Frilos province seceding from the Empire after the Jarl discovered in a near assassination attempt that the Empire was corrupt beyond even his imagination. He decided that it was time to split off, and the first thing that would need to be done to get that plan going is to create a new army for the new Palhas kingdom. And who better than the defectors from the Imperial Vanguard who refused to march across the Empire to the city of Haim and leave what they believed to be their home defenseless. Palhas and Frilos province would both be completely bereft of military. So these deserters, were put in a special prison newly built, and it is the Jarl's intent to plant the Regulators inside that prison and create a revolt and a jailbreak, and see about getting these deserters to join the new Palhas army, since they were so interested in defending their homeland. So the meeting went on. They learned about the deaths at the first Battle of Haim, the effects that it had on the survivors, the fact that many of the fallen Imperial soldiers were turned over to Orcus's army, and they were informed of a vision that Alexandra, the former presumed dead Empress of the Empire, had given to him, where he led, in addition to many other factions, an army of soldiers that rose from the ground and seemed to be made of stone. And he asked that the Regulators keep an ear out for anything that sounds similar to that, so that they can see about adding that to his forward-facing army when they finally are ready to attack the city of Haim and defeat Orcus. So, as we resume, Regulators, you are still standing or sitting around this meeting table in the basement level of Fort Annexa. You have been given details about the prison, the defenses that Lorimer, for example, was forced to help create. You understand some of the restrictions you have The most recent thing that you've been told is there are some magic items, if they are not constantly active, that may be able to be smuggled into the prison without setting off the alarms. Are you kidding me? What?
Son of a bitch.
I didn't even get my sip of water.
Yes, you did. I gave it to you down here.
I'm thirsty again.
Well, you'll have to wait until break. Go. Alright. Where was I? Anyway, the last thing you were told, some magic items that are not constantly active can be snuck into the prison, but you have to decide what that is before you go so that they know what they need to be smuggling in and if it'll work. So, does anybody have anything they would like to present at this meeting?
So is now like the time to like ask what we could bring in, or
Well, essentially present the items that you think would be useful to you on the inside, and you can discuss whether those would actually work.
like my gloves of deft hands and the mask of many faces would be the two I would think of.
Mm-hmm.
And of course our earrings of whisper.
Lorimer says the earrings of whisper should be. We should be able to send you in with still wearing those. Jewelry is not being confiscated, and they are generally innate when they're not being used. As far as the gloves of deft hands,
So I was under the impression that they're attuned to me, but they're not actually doing anything until I command it to use one of the charges.
correct, and they do not look any particularly fancy. They're not technically armor, so you would actually be able to wear those in as well.
Okay.
Nice.
The Mask of Many Faces is, again, innate when not in use, but that, however, would draw some attention, from visual observation, so that is something that could be smuggled into you when necessary.
Okay.
Lorimer looks happy that we're making progress and explains, just so you know, I have set up a small magical chest within the prison that is accessed from behind an illusion that's disguised as a rock. You will be able to crawl to it and retrieve items from the chest on a daily basis as we send them out. And you will be able to send things back to us as well. By placing them inside the chest. At the end of the day, it will send us what you have given us, and then at the following dawn, you will retrieve any items that we have sent out to you. Just make sure you are not seen using the secret passage. Otherwise, either guards or other prisoners may become privy to the chest, and it will complicate the ordeal. But when you're considering items that you want smuggled in, remember it can only be items that will fit in a relatively small chest, and you can crawl out on your belly with to get them back into the prison proper.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like trying to carry Ant-Man carrying things 5 times my body weight.
Right.
A couple of small things.
I just wanted to clarify how the smuggling is going down, so you understand the limitations.
Chime of opening.
Holy shit. Yeah, in theory, that could be smuggled in.
The what now?
It's a chime of opening. It's a metal tube with like a thing attached to it, and we have 10 charges. Yeah, I don't think we even used a single charge on it. But you can ring it, and it unlocks any door, lid, or lock. A single one.
Oh yeah.
So essentially, this is like a skeleton key for us to get out of the prison, or at least through 10 doors if need be.
And of course, those are standard locks, though, too. And the arcane lock may resist its ability. But yeah, in theory, that could actually get you through some doors in the prison, and it's not constantly active, so it would be something. It's also super tiny, so.
Yeah, like as for armor and stuff like that, I don't think there's really much we could do with smuggling in our armor, or at least mine.
Right.
Because it's pretty magical, I think.
I actually think all of you have magic armor at this point. But, however, in theory, when you're ready to, make it happen, when you're ready for the full-scale revolt, the alarm doesn't matter anymore.
True.
And Lorimer explains he would be able to smuggle through some armor on the last trip, essentially. Last day, and it wouldn't set the alarms off until you bring it out of the secret access.
Yeah, so I would say I'd probably want like the scroll of message. We probably leave that in the chest, so that whenever we go to pick stuff up daily, we can communicate through the scroll of message.
Well, he says
unless
you could actually
we can just carry the scroll of message around.
Scroll of message, it has a slightly more sustained magic to it because it's always waiting to pick something up. However, he points out you can use a regular scroll of paper because at every night at about sundown, you can put a message into the chest. It will be sent back to Lorimer, and Lorimer will have until dawn the next day to send, any response or.
So my thought would be like I'll put most of my stuff in the wizard's door and leave the doorknob with Lorimer, and then on the final day when we're ready to full scale assault, he would just leave the doorknob in the chest for me, and we'd go.
Actually, that's a good idea. We all could leave our armor in the wizard's door, and when the last day comes, we can just all put our armor on.
And he does mention in cases it's like especially the chime of opening, to take careful consideration in when you want it, if you want to keep, and if you're holding on to it for an extended period of time, to make sure you do a good job of hiding it, because there are occasional checks and things like that for contraband.
I'm assuming that would be.
I'm gonna need you to shove that
like
thing way up your butt, Malcolm.
Oh, I will keister it if I have to. But I do have a +9 to sleight of hand, so if push comes to shove, I'd rather not have to shove. We'll just put it that way.
Right. I had to, Matt. I had to.
But I think that would be useful in case we do have to get past a locked door while we're actually there. So that would probably be something we want to get on like one of the first couple days, probably.
Yep. All right. So, anybody else have any magical items that they want to be able to smuggle in?
Would my water skin, my magic water skin, be useful?
I thought that was a bowl.
No, it's a decanter. It's like a canteen, actually. But...
Oh, okay.
Well, okay, the rest of the party can answer if useful. As far as can it be smuggled in, yes, I believe that is something that could be... Yeah, because it's not even... It doesn't even really have... It has that one ability that causes actual damage, but it's not exactly that powerful, so... it probably would not bring off any alarms. And even if it did, they wouldn't know what they were looking for.
You have your Ring of Regeneration, but again, that's jewelry, and I think he was saying it doesn't really... You weren't confiscating any jewelry.
Provided it didn't give off an immediate magic aura. Ring of Regeneration is... What is the Ring of Regeneration?
He regains 1d6 hit points every 10 minutes.
That sounds like something that would be pretty constantly active. Constantly checking your health. and try and so you'd have to unequip that.
But I think it's attuned to only me.
Yeah. But it gives it would give off a constant magical aura because it's constantly working. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Ring of Invisibility, however, would be relatively innate when you have it turned off.
Well,
okay, I was gonna ask about that too.
Yeah, I think a Ring of Invisibility is good.
Okay. Then I did find, kind of going through my shit. Remember when we fought that guy with the dead dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one of those dragon's teeth, and it
Oh my God.
says that it summons the dead dragon.
Yes, it does.
Zuko, where are you going with this?
I mean, could that be brought in, and then when we need to, boom, there's a dead dragon that wreaks havoc?
Yeah, that'd be a great fucking distraction. I mean, let's be honest.
I love this idea.
Yeah. I forgot
That's
about that
great.
thing.
How
Not
did you
as
forget
bad.
about that? They were going to use that to escape with.
That was like a year ago.
That was like a
We
year
still
ago.
remember that.
But that's definitely something we're going to want to not use until we have our armor and everything. Because that thing could very well kill us.
True.
But there you go,
Let's
Zuko.
see
That
here.
and it is not that large, so you could, that could be smuggled in the chest, or in the door, or in the door of the wizard's door if you wanted to.
Okay.
Of course, that gives you. I mean, the wizard's door gives you all kinds of options, especially for anything you only need the final day, when you're ready to.
You do have the magic grappling hook. I don't know
I
if you
do.
would need it to scale walls or anything, really.
I don't think that's something that we could smuggle in because it's like a very apparent how it could be used.
But it's not active unless you
There
actually
does
use
have
it
to
and then
be
tug on the
right
rope.
now. Is that something that's constantly...
It is not constantly active, but as Zuko pointed out, it's a little bulkier, and obviously it would get confiscated if it was found. So that might be something you want to throw in the.
In the wizard store. Got it.
Or you could,
Probably.
if you know you need it, you could specifically ask for it. The night before you need it, have it brought in.
And the carpet.
So
Probably
they're
the carpet in the wizard door too.
Yep.
yeah. So they're god-killing weapons. The Getty's torch, and I can't remember what the other one.
Yeah, those don't
are,
exist unless they're
They
summoned.
can be vanished and summoned as an action. So they don't actually exist in this, I guess, plane of existence
Essentially,
until they summon it.
right. So they
they'd be able to
have
that
access
in
to
the-
their weapons. Yeah.
Okay. It's just me that has fucking nothing going into this place.
However, again, you can have your gun belt
Smoke
inside the wizard store the final day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but just in case something goes down while we're in there.
Lorimer hears you considering this and points out your best bet is to do what all the other prisoners are doing there to stay armed, and that is to fashion yourself a blade inside.
Well, I intend to do that too, but I'm also very much a ranged kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
So, what about a sling?
That could easily be
Or two slings? Can I do?
I don't see why you couldn't. They're both one-handed weapons, right?
Well, there we go. Two slings.
All right. So do you own slings, or you need to purchase them?
I'm going to go pick some up, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
No, I'm
what
going to assume stone is in great supply there, since it's
Yes,
a freaking
absolutely.
prison. So I can just find ammunition for the sling, probably.
Yep.
I could always take my flute in.
Flute.
That way when, like, things are going down, like, I could just play the flute. It's
Are you
not
talking like
magical at all.
Oh, okay. I thought you had you had bought some
magical food or something.
He has a magical flute.
Okay.
The pipes of haunting. The
Pipes of haunting. Yes, that's right.
Oh,
Actually, I think those came from Baba Yaga's hut, didn't they?
I
I think
so.
they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, your standard flute, in theory, yeah, you are allowed a limited number of personal possessions. A flute would not be considered dangerous or anything. So yeah, you could bring your flute.
Okay, cool.
All right, y'all seems satisfied with the way everything is proceeding along. He says, very well. We will give everyone a few days to get their affairs in order. And we will meet back here in, let's say, 3 days to begin preparation for placing you inside the prison.
Well, they go shopping while we're here so I can get some slims.
Probably not a bad idea for me to get some either.
Probably Echo, too. I can't imagine they would be expensive. There's some fucking rope and leather.
Yep. Have you... Oh, we should... We should... You guys... Well, okay, we'll wait until we get to town. Back to town, I should say. Alright, so everybody has an idea of what they want to go in with. It'll probably be a few sessions before we get there. As the meeting is concluded, Ephid says, well, you've gotten to see the secret lair. Would you care for a tour of the rest of the fort before you head back home?
Sure.
Seems extremely...
On.
What's that?
Never mind. I didn't say nothing.
Okay. Ethan seems extremely excited at the prospect of being able to show off the fort. It seems like she got some say in the construction and everything that was put into it. So she brings you back up the secret entrance and out of the central fountain room, and giving you a tour around the several levels of the fort. I don't have a map built yet to show you how it's changed, but as explained before, there are several towers still under construction surrounding the central fountain room. There are actually 4 separate chapels, one to each of the Fira. There's also several different specialized combat training rooms. One for ranged weapons, one for melee weapons, and a couple different challenge rooms where some of the dummies fight back. Shows you through some of the personal quarters that have been designed for each of the knights proper. The barracks for the regular soldiers that have sworn loyalty to the order without actually taking the full knight's oath. That is reserved for, when they are more skilled and decide to take on that bond. Of course, you guys know from your previous encounters with the remains of the Hellish Rittera that is a serious oath that not everybody who is loyal to the cause necessarily wants to take on. But she shows you around the rest of the still under construction fort with great excitement, and talks about how her different ideas, how they came to fruition. Towards the end of the tour, she brings you to what you recognize would have been the top of the structure at the back of the fort. where you actually originally met Alaric, where he was standing guard on top of that small building in the back. But now it has been extended outwards into a very long, narrow balcony. Narrow that it extends kind of like Avengers Tower, the long like observation deck style thing comes out the side. But anyway, as you step out, the brisk ocean air comes and meets your face with a bit of intensity that you weren't expecting, since you've been, protected from the wind up until now, and a flock of gulls that had been sitting mostly undisturbed on the railing of this balcony takes flight and flitters away, screeching at you for disturbing their rest.
A flock of seagulls?
Yep.
I ran.
You what?
I ran. I ran so far away.
You didn't like seagull?
I got it.
Jake got it.
I got it.
Okay, Jake.
There's a band called A Flock of Seagulls, and their famous song is I ran so far away.
I never knew what the name of that band was. Okay, wow. All right. And this sudden disturbance as you step out onto this balcony is the first time that the lone figure looking out over the bay notices that someone has joined him. And you see an armored figure turn around. Oops. And you see a dark-haired human man in his mid-30s. As he turns to face you, you realize that you recognize him. It is Barros, the personal guard of Jarl Vosser, which you noticed was missing the last time you had visited the estate. And he is not wearing the royal blue armor that he had been wearing at the time as a personal guard of a Jarl. He is now wearing the armor of the Holy Regulators. And he smiles as he sees you, and it's been some time. Regulators, how have you been?
Busy.
I died last week.
Well, seems you've gotten better. Just a 24-hour thing, huh?
Well, more like I faked my own death, and then everybody thought I was dead, but I really wasn't dead. It's a whole thing.
I get the feeling this probably isn't the first time you've done something like that.
No, but it was funny to watch his wife throw stuff at him.
So, I imagine you've probably been wondering where I've been. As you can see, I decided to take up with the Holy Regulators. Turns out I'm on my second life myself, and thankfully the Jarl didn't take any offense to me deciding that I wanted to do something more important with this one than the last one. The Jarl is a great man, but he is one man. And being given a second chance at life, I decided to dedicate this one to something a little bit bigger than just one person. So I guess I kind of know where you're coming from, having been dead and all.
Sounds like it. Well, it's good to see you in good health.
Yes. Well, it's.
You said he's wearing the armor. You said of the
Holy
full
Regulators.
Knights?
Yep.
Okay.
And he, of
I'll
course,
read that, I see you taking the oath.
Yes. I was already a knight under the Jarl, but he released me from my oath to to the honor guard and allowed me to convert over. I, of course, am still serving him in a sense, as I am serving you. But again, it can get very strange spending a lot of time around Alexandra. It seems she can't seem to help but tell you things that you probably shouldn't know. When I learned that I should have been dead over a month ago, I believe it is now, it makes you reevaluate things. As it turns out, the night that you stopped Mantis for good, if things hadn't gone the way they did, if you had not stopped him, I would have died that very night. Once the cults got their hands on the tablet and completed the ritual, an army of demons would have attacked Palhas. You would have heard that the Jarl was under siege at his estate, flown in on your ship and tried to rescue him. You would have found the army of demons at his front door, tried to fight them off so that everyone in the home could escape, and I would have apparently stayed behind, trying to be the last man on board, and died in the process, covering your escape. But because you managed to get the tablet put away for good, that never happened, and here I am. In a way, I owe you my life, and I can't think of any better way to repay that than to serve in your knightly order.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to change your fate and probably the fate of a lot of other people too.
Yes, fortunately for whoever else that may be, they don't spend a lot of time with a woman who can see all possible futures and has a habit of opening their mouth about them. But I'm glad to be here. And I'm glad you've gotten over that being dead thing, too. Well, it's beginning to get frigid out here, so I think I'm going to retire. And he gives a bow to Ethan and to all of you, and excuses himself inside.
So, I mean, like, he took the oath, so... Because, I mean, he sounds like he isn't too much of a fan of spending a lot of time around Alexandra.
Yeah.
Like, is he actually happy here? Or am I not going to have any problems with him? Should I roll an insight check to see?
Yeah, roll an insight check.
Plus 16.
16. Yeah, with 16, you actually pick up, he is deeply disturbed by what Alexandra told him, but he is actually a lot happier here than he was serving as the Jarl's personal guard. He seems more fulfilled. Like he actually is doing something much bigger with his life than he was before.
Okay. I'm good with that.
Yeah. And he is probably, I mean, next to Ethan, he's probably going to be one of your most enthusiastic and loyal followers.
He's not going to be like the fan from Oblivion, is he?
No. No. But, Ethan, during that conversation, kind of squinted when you brought up constantly being around Alexandra and having gotten that alternate future told to him. And you get the impression that she gets kind of irritated anytime Alexandra's name is brought up.
Oh shit.
Oh.
So I see that. So that's definitely something to table to talk with Ethan about.
Yep.
Well, here it is. This is one of my favorite spots. It's kind of isolates you from the rest of the fort. It's a good place to just take in the sound of the ocean, and it's a great meditation spot. A little bit frigid. I'm looking forward to the spring when it's not blowing ice in your face while you're standing here, but we all decided that we no longer really needed to defend the bay from naval attacks, at least not for the time being. So the entire cannon battery area has been repurposed. The fort primarily just serves as a home for the Holy Regulators, and doesn't actually serve any true defensive purpose in of itself. But there it is. Probably dramatically different from the last time you saw it, but I hope you enjoy it. It is also yours in a sense as well.
Yeah, like I said when we first arrived here, there are a lot of memories associated with this place, but I do think that it's a great training ground and everything for the Order, for sure.
I agree.
Well, please don't be strangers. There's a place here for you as well. I know you generally stay at the Jarl's estate, which is significantly nicer, I'm sure, but feel free to stop by for training or to check in with your knights. Let us know if there's ever anything that we need to do, anything you need assistance with.
Actually, is there anything you need, Ethan? Any resources that you're lacking here that you could use?
For the time being, I think we are pretty well taken care of. Both Clambach, she gives him a nod, and the Jarl are taking very good care of us. They're checking in with us regularly for anything we need. The Jarl has asked me to help him find this strange magical army that Alexandra saw in some vision, and we haven't been making much headway in that regard.
Do you think there's anybody, not necessarily in the Order itself, but because they have like other followers and stuff here too, right? You said, like,
what's that?
You said there's other people here besides just the people in the Order itself, like the ones that took oaths. There's other people here too.
Right. There's lower level, simple soldiers that are loyal to the Order, but they aren't full-fledged knights.
So, I would ask Ethan, do you think that there's anybody in the Standard Order that could be possibly trained as a airship pilot?
They come from many different backgrounds. I haven't specifically asked about flight experience, but I'm sure it's possible.
I'm going to look into a couple of things, and I'm going to see about getting a airship commissioned for use by the Order to help you guys get around a lot faster.
A form of transport.
Troops.
That
Correct.
Is a great idea. Oh, look at that. I thought I had everything I could possibly need, and you came up with something I didn't know I needed. That would be excellent. Yes, I would greatly appreciate that. In fact, we're still working on the construction, especially on the back end of the fort. We might be able to set up a permanent dock here.
Well, it would be the same. It would be a similar design, or the same design as the Serenity that you've seen.
Yes.
So, as you know, it can land just about anywhere with a capable pilot.
Fantastic. It'd be good, though, to have a dock here that it can attach to and also could possibly keep it hidden from outside viewers as long as they don't see it landing, essentially. But yes, I will get things set up here for that. I will look into seeing if any of our personnel have any experience flying, and if we don't, I'm sure the Jarl would be able to find me somebody within the Cerulean Guard or someone within the Palhouse of Frio's government.
If they want to ride on the Serenity and shadow Duskchin, I'm sure he would mind, to kind of get a way of the actual experience of how to fly the specific model airship as well.
Excellent. I've heard rumor that the Jarl has commissioned some airships recently himself. I don't know if he chose the one of yours, and of course if you told him about it, I'm sure that was what he did. But yes, I would love to have one for the Order specifically.
Okay. I'll work some things out, and I'll see if we can't get one commissioned and have it flown up here for you.
Excellent, thank you. Well, you guys are more than welcome to stick around, but I also don't want to monopolize your time. I'm sure there's things you have to do before you head to the prison.
Yep. Is there any kind of do we know of any kind of salute or anything like that for the Hellish Ridera?
You've seen the gesture of not the like fist to the chest, but flat hand over the heart as they've crossed paths with each other. Seems to be a common thing among them.
Okay, so yeah, I would do that and kind of tilt my hat and head out.
She returns the gesture. She gives Mira a smile.
Mira might be wanting to stay here, just saying.
Sorry, I was checking my blood pressure.
No problem. Oh my gosh.
Come again?
I think someone stole one of mine.
Does Ethan have that effect? Does Ethan have that effect on your blood pressure?
I wish.
No, I was just saying that that I gave her a salute and like tilted my hat and walked away, and Matt said that she gave you a smile. And I'm like, well, Mira might want to stay.
I walk over to her and I give her a hug and I told her next time.
She gives you an understanding nod and wishes you luck and sends you all on your way. Why am I missing wet erase markers? Not acceptable. Okay, purple it'll have to be. Alright, so you guys make your way out of the fort, back to the carriage, and are brought back into town, which you are more than welcome to hop off at any time. So this would be a good time to, before I release you to take the rest of the day to yourselves. This is a good time.
This would be a good time for me to split out our money to everybody.
Oh, yes.
So there is 1,500 gold pieces for each of us from the last month or so of adventuring and stuff.
Are you including Echo in that, or...?
Yes.
Okay.
She's new, but, she might need some money for something.
Alright, so how much is it?
1,500 gold pieces. I have so much gold right now. Good God.
Let's see. 5,000 gold plus 1,500. 6,000.
Fuck you. You're lying to me.
What?
Oh, I don't want to give you the results.
What?
167 over 117.
That can't be right.
I've tested it 3 times.
Well, give it a little time and check it again, because that doesn't sound right.
No, that doesn't sound right. And it doesn't sound great either.
Well, we'll check it again at break, see what it says.
Okay. It's a good thing I have an appointment on Tuesday.
Yep.
Oh shoot. So, well, that's Mira.
What happened?
It says Mira's over carrying capacity.
Wait, what? Wait, what now? What do I do about that?
It says you're carrying 357 pounds.
Let me check her settings and make sure that.
It's gotta be.
Oh, I see it now.
That's gotta just be all her gold and stuff, because I don't see anything else that's.
Let me check
that
her settings,
heavy.
make sure she's doesn't have it set to. Use encumbrance. Ignore coin weight wasn't turned on.
Oh, okay.
Alright,
I was like, whoa, what the heck?
yeah, it was measuring the weight of all that gold.
Is it gonna fix now?
Yeah, it should be fixed now.
Oh, okay, good.
I bet you it's coming mine too. I'm not over encumbered though.
Alright, so good chance to bring up Zuko's bike. So Zuko, you've been looking over your plans, and here's what you're looking at for beginning construction on this thing. First thing in the materials required is the power crystal, which you guys already have 2 of. I don't know what you did with them, but I know you have them.
Somebody has them. I don't think I do.
I think you do, because I had mentioned the idea to you, and then, you were working on the plans for them.
Well, yeah, but I thought you took the thing.
Does anybody have the Wizard's Door inventory sheet? Because guys might have thrown them in there, or they might be in the cart.
Probably in the cart.
Yeah. I know that's where you originally put them. I just don't know if you moved them out of there. Alright, so regardless, one of those power crystals you got from the robots at Lorimer's place. You need 2 small levitation crystals.
Which we'll need to pick up, right?
Sorry, those would technically be medium. Lorimer would be able to help provide them. Those are 400 gold pieces apiece, and 1 small levitation crystal, which will run you about 150 gold pieces. Vital metal components at a blacksmith would cost about 250 gold pieces with about a 3-day turnaround. And then frame components, this is where you get to make a choice. If you want a wood frame, it'll be about 150 gold pieces in materials. It can be constructed in downtime on the ship with Malcolm. Will take a total of 80 hours to build, just the frame. That will give you a bike with 50 horsepower. 50 horsepower, that's not that HP. 50 hit points, 13 armor class, and a top speed of 90 miles per hour, which will take 7 rounds going in a relatively straight line to reach. 70 feet per round combat speed. Or if you go with a metal frame, it'll cost about 800 gold piece of materials and labor, because you'll have to have blacksmiths make these pieces for you. 2-week turnaround at a blacksmith. An armor class of 19 instead of 13. 160 hit points instead of 50. and a top speed of about 70 miles per hour, which takes about 6 rounds to going in a straight line to reach. Now, one of the reasons this is significant, of course, you're not going to be hitting 70 miles per hour in most combats because you're going to fly way off the map. However, the reason that those high speeds are useful is, of course, traveling. If you need to get somewhere super fast and you're traveling alone, that's a great option. But also, you have the option of adding a high altitude package, which will include an additional extending wood frame and canvas, creating wings for a traditional flight mechanic. Essentially, once you push the bike to about 35 miles an hour, you can extend the wings, create lift, and fly around like it's a small airplane. And that'll be an extra 250 gold pieces of materials for that part. Without that, you have essentially a more versatile, magical fantasy version of the Star Wars speeder bikes. But it is capable of hovering up to about 50 feet without the wings. So, if you are wanting to purchase any of that stuff or commission any of that stuff at a blacksmith or anything, now would be a good time to do that. Also, you guys missed a bank check.
Okay, so we didn't get the bank check. That's why I couldn't find it.
Well, the last one you guys stopped and actually checked on, I think, was... Yeah.
I think the last one I had was 1,400 gold, so... I have our initial deposit of 4,000 gold, and then 1,400 gold, and that's the last thing I had written down.
That might have been the most recent one, then. You guys were in Rumlin when this one came through, so if you want to stop by the bank while you are in town...
Well, do you remember how much it cost for our airship? Do you have that somewhere?
I think it was like $2,500.
A rush order would be 4,000. Letting them take their time with it is about 2,800 gold pieces.
Yeah, they can take their time on it. So I'd like to put 2,800 of gold of my own money in the bank and see if I can have somebody from the bank reach out to the airship docks and have an order put in for me. Okay.
I believe that is a 2-week turnaround. Let's see, what day is it? So it'll be ready on the 19th, most likely.
And then I would pay extra if need be to have somebody from the airship dock fly it up and drop off at Fort Nexa.
What the hell is she doing downstairs?
She wants water. Okay, so... Hold on, let me see.
She probably looked around her break. She should go back to her room.
Go back to your room.
Matt, she's on the camera.
I have a question.
Go!
When's your break?
You'll find out when we come up. Jesus. Let's see. Move. Times point. All right. When you get to the bank, they inform you have double check my math here. Uh, 1,600 gold pieces that you've earned on your commission for the airships. Turns out the Jarl has ordered 4 over the past month.
Damn.
Well then.
And when you communicate with the shipbuilding yard, they say for an additional 800 gold pieces, they can have somebody fly it up to Anexa Spire, where...
so 2,800 and 800, you said?
Yep, 800 extra to hire a temporary pilot to fly it up for you.
Okay, so that's going to be 3,600?
Wait. Will we be using our airship?
What do you mean?
When that ship's done?
Hard to say. You may be in the prison, you may not.
I mean, we could always have Dushkin and Tristan pick it up for free.
True. That is very
He knows
true.
how to fly.
Because what other crew besides Tristan would he need to fly it back up here?
None. One person can fly that ship.
Okay. Well, then, yeah. Never mind the extra 800 gold. We'll just have them fly down, and because it'd be what, like 1 day to get down there and back.
Yeah. The round trip would take... yeah, I might be looking at... I think... I'd have to measure it again, but I think it's about 18 hours round trip.
They might actually want to land and sleep since they're both going to be flying separate airships.
Yeah, or they could... they could push themselves and do the 1800, but... Or 18 hours.
Or we could have Dushkin drop him off like a day early or whatever, and you can kind of hang out.
True.
Mm-hmm. But either way, yeah, you can arrange that. Just remember, on the 19th, we will not have your ship available to you. So don't make sure that's not prison break day.
Well, I will remove 2,800 gold pieces. So there we go.
Right. And you got the money. Well, did you leave it in the bank, or your commission?
Well, I'm putting that money in the bank. Yeah, I'm leaving that in the bank. I'm putting 2,800 in the bank from the wire to the shipyard.
Okay. All right. So, Zuko, do you want to purchase anything for your motorbike project? Not motorbike, but hover bike.
Well, so Malcolm and I will be working on these together, right?
Well, I mean, assembly anyway. But the amount of time you have to dedicate it depends on if you're doing the wood frame that you're building yourself, or if you're doing the metal frame, which will just be parts made at a blacksmith, and then you'll put them together.
What do you think? Do you think we should do wood or metal? I like the idea of metal.
I like the idea of metal as well because it's going to be more durable, especially if you're going full speed on this effing thing and you accidentally hit something. That wood's going to splinter and just destroy, probably.
Yeah, and then with the metal, at least you can, I don't know, run down an army?
I mean,
I don't know.
With the metal, you can pound that out. You know what I mean?
Yep. 50. Yeah. We're talking a different wood frame is 50 hit points and an AC of 13. It's a little bit faster, but yeah, it would definitely be more prone to getting damage, especially in combat. The metal frame has 160 hit points and an AC of 19, which I think is higher than even yours. So,
and not to mention with the wooden frame, one fire arrow, you're done, buddy. You're done.
Yeah. From metal it is.
Alright, so you want to start with the frame?
Sure.
And you want to hire the local blacksmith to...
Yeah, I feel like we've had some good interaction with this blacksmith here. Can't remember can't remember the name of the blacksmith, but...
Goodness gracious. Remember when I paid so much attention to the city notes and had shops and everything else laid out?
We really haven't been to cities much recently. Besides Rumlin. And really, we were only there for the Devalos estate.
Yeah, well, I do seem to remember that you guys had some interaction with the blacksmiths here.
How much was the materials for the frame, you said?
The frame is going to be 800 gold pieces.
Because I'm wondering if we make 2 of these, if we can. Because we have 2 power crystals, right?
Yep.
I'll pay for this part.
So it's up to you, Zuko. But I know we had talked about working these to get them mass produced as well. So if we work on it and get it done before we go pick up the airship, we could take a prototype down to the airship yard.
Oh, you talked about having the airship yard make these things. However, I have an alternative suggestion I would just like to bring up.
Okay.
Especially since, these are going to be used by the Holy Regulators possibly, rather than a commercial deal like you have with the airships. Let me see if I can find, what was it called?
I mean, I'm all for keeping technological advancement with our own little area here.
Well, maybe we do a wood one and a metal one, and we get commissions off of the wood one.
Well, my idea for a business that might be more suited, and I am probably going to have to go back into our recaps to find what this place was called, but you recall the custom shop that made your carriage.
Oh yeah.
The I think they were gnomish guys who sounded like the Fawns.
Yeah.
They might be the ideal kind of shop to have something like this made.
Plus, once you show them the plans, they might even come up with some other ideas, like full-on carriages, not just the single seaters.
And in fact, when you finish your bike, I would recommend going to them to put the finishing touches on it, like a nice, saddle and the creature comforts.
Some sweet pipes, chrome it out.
Yeah.
All right, so you are purchasing. You're hiring the local blacksmith to make the pieces for the frame. Are you going to get the vital metal components as well, the 250 extra? This is for things like pedals and handlebars. The parts of that absolutely have to be metal.
Sure.
Okay. All right, so that's doing the 800, 900. So that should be 1,050 gold pieces total.
Okay.
And all of the pieces will be ready to pick up in 2 weeks as well. So about the same time that the...
And if we're going to take this to the gnomish guy to do finishing touches, then I think we'll just make the one, because they're going to see it anyways, and then we can show them the plans for it if they want to start.
Okay.
Yep. In fact, the blacksmiths won't really know what they're looking at. They're just building these frame pieces, which you guys will link together. All right, and you already have the power crystal. Do you want to talk to Lorimer yet about getting the levitation crystals, or do you want to save that until you have the frame put together?
I feel like that's something Lorimer can get pretty quickly, so I don't think we really need too much lead time on it, probably.
Okay. So
I could always also just write him on the scroll of message too. It's not something we actually necessarily have to go see him about.
Right. Well, yeah, and he's in town though, right now. So if you wanted to ask him, hey, when you get back, but it's up to you if you want to spend the money now or if you want to hold on until the frame gets together.
Zuko's money.
Yep. So what do you want to do, Zuko?
Let's just wait.
Alrighty. Anything else you guys want to do in town before you head out to deal with?
I need to go pick up some slings. Slings.
Oh,
I'm gonna go with Malcolm.
Okay.
I figured 2 for myself. Probably pick one up for Echo too, because she could probably also. Oh, you know what? We need something. We're gonna need something in order to shape some stuff into like shivs and stuff. I don't know if I could sneak my tinker tools in.
I've got a.
They can be smuggled in. That's not
That's
even
a
a magical
screwdriver.
item, so.
What was that, Matt?
You can definitely smuggle those in. They wouldn't even set off the alarms because they're just tools. Obviously, though, if you had them on you when you went into the prison, they would be confiscated.
Got it.
These guards are smarter than the ones in
I think
Shawshank
you were going to
Redemption.
talk about the. I think Zuko was going to say something. I think he has a tool.
I've got
Oh, yeah,
a screwdriver. It's like a multi-tool.
Yep. That's another one that could probably be smuggled in. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't. Simple ranged weapons, so you don't have to be proficient with them. Or, you don't have to be... yeah, it's not a martial weapon. That is 1 silver piece. However many you guys like to buy. I know money is tight. Guys can splurge a little bit.
What even are silver pieces? You said so. I'm gonna need 2, 1 for Echo. I think Mira said she wanted 1 too, right? Are you gonna get 1, Zuko?
Yeah, that's why I'm with you.
Okay, so I'll just take 5 silver pieces out. Maybe not. 1 gold piece removed. Electrum pieces. 10 electrum pieces, or add 10 electrum pieces. And then remove 1 electrum piece. Add 10 silver pieces. And then remove 5 silver pieces. Good God. Okay. I paid for all the slings.
Alrighty. Alright, anything else you guys want to do in town?
I personally can't think of anything. I know that Mira had a commission, but I don't know if that's something we're going to do today or...
What had she
that's something-
commissioned?
What's that?
What did she commission?
The cave fisher?
Oh, yes. Okay, I thought she was having somebody build something. Like, I don't remember that
Oh, no,
shit.
no. I meant that she had like a commission she picked up.
Yeah, she has a contract she picked up.
Contract commission, same thing.
Of course, that is just outside of town. So anything else before you leave Annexa proper?
Not that I can think of.
I can't think of anything.
Unless there's some kind of insight we can get into the prison or people's thoughts about the prison.
The best source for that was the meeting. I don't usually like putting words in the mouths of absent players, but these will be one of the rare exceptions. Echo pipes in. So, do you have any ideas about what this stone army the Jarl's talking about might be about?
No, but I guess we could stop. Maybe roll a history check. Like, is there something like has this army been summoned before, or have we heard anything about it, or should we be able to go to a library and look it up at all?
You guys, in fact, have heard of this army that he's talking about. I will give you that hint.
Okay. Can I try to recall that memory about it?
Yeah, go ahead and roll a history check. That's what we usually use for memory.
Ooh. Oh, God.
By the way,
4.
Shakira, you're muted. I don't know if you know that.
I shouldn't be muted.
No,
I
not you.
can hear you.
Shakira's. No, Shakira's muted.
Oh. I rolled a 4. Big fat 4.
Ugh. Given your proximity to it, I'm not... Yeah, doesn't ring any bells for you.
Was it my book?
That's what it reminds you of.
Which one of her books? Was it the smut book?
Yes,
The shitty smut book? Yes.
the Love Like a Rock book. Specifically, the complaint you had about it was it read more like a history text than erotic fiction.
So, I'm guessing Shakira or Mira brings that up in the party?
Yep.
Well, Echo's read it too. So yeah, either one of them can bring it up. But yeah, so Mira, do you bring it up?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Mira describes to you the similarities between the story and what he was described in the vision.
So, what exactly... Do we know what summoned these guys in the book, or... What was the name of the book?
Love Like a Rock. And
Love Like a Rock.
And there is an entry on World Anvil for it.
That's what I'm going to right now. Love Like a Rock. It would be helpful if I... How am I somehow in Sanctuary and not Fear and Amand? What? Is that under? What would that be under?
If you search Love Like a Rock, it should be able to. But there actually is a books, or I believe a books category.
Love Like... There it goes. I see it now. Oh, 404 error.
404 error.
Yep.
Double check, make sure it's published. Yep, public. Done. Yeah, go ahead and try it.
Okay,
again.
now it works. When I searched for it, it didn't work, but I went to the actual category and found it. Okay. The people in the story are ancient elves, and it's cold in a seasonal climate. So it doesn't really say anything about how they were summoned or anything. But it does possibly provide some clues as to where the army might be located.
Oh, at this point, Echo, because Echo did pick up on some similarities to a story she had heard in the Fey realm. She mentions that she had heard a story about a Fey creature that gave a mortal realm king a stone crown. and that the reason for the disaster at the end of this story is because the deal was when he defeated his enemies, he had to give the crown up. And it is assumed that he did not. So, what would you like to do with this information?
Do you guys think this is something that we could, the B team would be able to handle themselves, or if this is something that we would have to go collect from wherever it's at?
I think we should collect it.
So then I guess we'll try to cross-reference some of the clues about this city and everything. Elven city, cold climate, and see if we can't figure out where this city might be located at.
Don't forget, you can also go to
I was
the
gonna say
Temple
just
of
going to
Udal.
that big dingy place.
The library?
Yep.
Or isn't it technically a temple, but
It's technically a temple, but it's to the god of knowledge. So all of them are gigantic libraries.
makes sense to me, so I guess we could go do that while
Yep.
we're here in the city before we head out.
Okay.
Sounds good. to me.
So you head over to, well, for the sake of brevity, head over to the Temple of Udal. And as you step inside, you can see that it is, just like the last time you visited the one in Palhas, it is still a bit chaotic. Not quite as bad as the first day after you unlocked the Vault of Forbidden Knowledge. But it looks like they are still very busy looking through things. But there are a few squires, or not squires, what's the word I'm looking for? Scribes. That are still helping out patrons that stop in. One of them sees you and comes over. Welcome to the Temple of Udal. How can I help you today?
I'm going to assume, I think, Mira, you get the book, right?
Echo has the book.
Okay. So I'd ask Echo to get the book out and hand it over to him and kind of go over some of the clues with him and see if he can't point us in the right direction of what city it might be.
All right. He takes the offer of the book from Echo and thumbs through it extremely fast. These guys are very, very fast readers.
And
he,
I
you know,
guess Cece might be described, but she reads crazy fast.
He thumbs through it, and you watch these contorted facial reactions at the quality of the fiction and the kind of discomfort of reading this topic in front of people. But towards the end,
By the way, it's a bad smut book.
I picked that up. But towards the end, he starts to get a smile on his face, and he looks kind of excited. You realize what you have here.
Nope.
This, well, for us, this is practically a holy relic. There's a reason that it sounds like poorly written smut and reads more like a history text. This is what, he looks around to make sure nobody's listening, kind of a sensitive subject, but this is what we call, I believe, this is what we call a confessional. Let me check something real quick. Follow me. And he takes you towards the back of the temple, into a section with some what appears to be books about Udal and the temple itself and the religion. And he pulls out a very old, very thick tome, sets it on a podium, opens it up, and starts. He's looking at the cover of the Love Like a Rock, and pawing through these pages, and he's thinking very hard about it. He's like, here, the author Sholi Herniel. I believe this is the work of Loris Yelna. And he points to a name, and those of you who have a decent intelligence score will notice that that it is an anagram. And next to Loris Yelna's name, you see the title. Hold on. I'm forgetting my own lore here.
Take your time.
Okay, come on. Go. Why does search not want to work? Okay, so High Sage. You see the title High Sage next to his name. And so finally, the scribe explains, as you know, the entire premise of our belief system is that knowledge is a powerful tool that should be available to everyone. However, occasionally, much like the Vault of Forbidden Knowledge, but to a slightly more minor extent, sometimes in the course of our service to the church, we come across historical information, usually something connected to an artifact or something like that we feel is too dangerous to spread knowledge about, because if it falls into the wrong hands, it could cause great damage. When that occurs, quite often this is held on by that person for a long period of time, and in order to alleviate ourselves of our closest equivalent to a sin by withholding this information, sometimes this information will be published disguised as fiction using an anagram of their name. And I believe that is what you're looking at right here. The reason it reads like a history text is because it is. It was a way of sharing the information that he had without taking it to his grave, and also without making it too obvious so that those who might do damage with the artifact do not learn of it. Of course, you have come to me and asked me about it, so it is my sworn duty to do what I can to help you find this. I hope that you don't have any ill intent with whatever it is you find from this information. I'm guessing you're looking for a location of this city.
Yes.
Correct.
Very well. Well, it will take me a little bit of time. If you could come back in within the next day or so, I should be able to give you at least a rough location. I'll have to cross-reference it with other stories and landmarks and see if anything obvious pops up. But I will do my best to get you as close as I can. Just need a couple days. If you don't mind me borrowing the book.
Nope, I don't mind.
All right. Thank you. Is there anything else you need?
So I'm guessing by looking through this, he can probably assume that we're looking for the crown.
Yeah, that's...
Or is the crown even in the book? Okay. Is there any way for him to look up what the agreement that was initially came up with the crown?
Well, Echo fills him in on the details. She knows, so it can help. He says, well, yes, if I find any trace of this story in any other texts, I will see if I can find out what exactly it is, the deal that was made.
Okay.
Although...
That's all I'm going to say to him, but whenever we leave, I'm going to have a talk with the group at large.
Okay. Alright, so you guys leave the temple then?
Once we leave, I'm going to turn around and say, if this thing is powerful enough that the Fae wanted the crown destroyed once they completed their agreement, this is not something I feel like we should just leave in the Jarl's hands forevermore. So I think we need to come up with an agreement as well, that the Jarl will destroy the crown once the city of Heim is brought back under control.
I agree.
Yep.
So we'll have to find some kind of... I see you smiling there, Matt. I see you smiling.
You tried hiding it.
Because there's probably a curse on it right now. So, I mean, we're going to pick it up and one of us is going to get fucking cursed, probably. Shit. We're going to need to bring Kaylee.
Yep.
Because I can't think of anybody else that we have that could potentially break a curse. I don't even know if Kaylee could break a curse. I know she's a cleric. That's it.
Depends on the level of the curse. Yeah, she probably does have. I need to check her level. She's probably way behind on leveling up.
Well, she's been on the ship. We barely get to see her in anything, so it's one of those things where, whoopsie.
Yeah,
but yeah, like I just, even if there's somebody we could reach out to set up a new agreement, I don't feel leaving that high of an artifact, powerful of an artifact, in the hands of somebody with political aspirations.
I agree.
makes
I mean,
sense.
the Jarl may be a good guy, but
Well,
power can be corrupted.
So was fucking Senator Palpatine.
Don't bring up that ass.
Jarl's gonna get the freaking crown and be like, execute Order 66, and just try to. We're gonna have to fucking fight off black soldiers.
Jesus Christ.
Or, you know, like, I don't know, the One Ring to rule them all. Just saying.
Loving all the references, guys. Loving all the references.
But that's just my thoughts on it. Again, we're a democratic group. That's just my thoughts on it.
No, that makes sense.
No, I totally agree with you.
This makes me very happy that you immediately realized that this isn't something we're just going to give to him and then, forget about it.
Walk away.
That's great because, yeah, that's good thinking.
Well, I mean, a bunch of soldiers that just don't feel any pain could just keep walking. No, I'm not just going to give that capability to somebody and be like, yeah, don't conquer the world. Just stay here. No.
Yeah.
But we'll try to... I do not want to go back into a Fey realm again. I do not want to go back into a Fey realm again. But we'll have to find some way to get some kind of agreement for it, because it's a Fey item, I'm assuming. So we'll have to figure something out. But yeah.
Malcolm's like, if we're going to the Fey realm, I'll be staying over here, where it's safe.
We're going into the Fey realm. I'm taking so much pesticide, but herbicide, it's not even funny.
All right, so you guys ready to head out of town and go deal with this contract?
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right, so we are going to go ahead and take a very quick break. And when we get back, the regulators will head to the nearby village to deal with this cave fisher. Back in about 10. Alright, and we are back. So, the group has dealt with everything they need to deal with in town. Calendar is marked for when your stuff will be done. You can come. You still have a few days before you go to the prison, so you can stop back by the library and get what answers are available on the Stone Army. So, just next question is: are you guys taking your carriage Are you just going out on horseback?
Horseback is a lot easier.
Yeah, I'm just gonna set out on horseback myself.
All right.
Yeah, I thought so too.
The only one who does not have one is Echo.
She could ride with me.
I was gonna say she could ride with one of the two of us, I'm sure, or three of us.
Yeah, she could ride with me.
Alrighty, so you summon your horses and head out of the southern gates of Anexa. Alright, so you make your way southeast along the Anexa highway. The paved ancient roadway is relatively clear, but the fields on either side of you are covered in sparkling snow that reflects the nearly blinding sunlight into your eyes. The air is crisp, but the clear sky and direct sunlight keeps you warm. I need to check for typos in my notes. Dark clouds far to the west promise a fresh snow will fall tonight, but the heat of the sun may linger near the surface for a relatively warm night. If not for the Karn marker and the remnants of Mira and Echo's footprints from the day before, you would have nearly missed the sparsely used trail that breaks off to the right. As you make your way down towards the small temporary village of Aberflaw, a small cluster of wood and stone houses becomes visible in distance. Let me know if you need to interrupt, if you want to stop or do anything along the way. Let's see what your passive perceptions are. 18. What is Echo's passive perception?
Her passive perception is 19.
Okay, so she will be the first to notice, followed shortly by Malcolm. The first thing Echo and Malcolm both notice about the village as you proceed towards it is the lack of smoke coming from the chimneys in the homes in this village. It also seems silent and empty. Shortly before you get to the village, there is a small wooden sign that says Aberflaw, and there's a wooden plaque beneath it, a memorial to the 5 men who lost their lives in a explosion in the mine about 5 years prior. And it lists their names and has small carvings in the wood, which you assume to be the faces of the men who died in that accident. Do you proceed towards the town? Or village, I should say.
I mean, is this the village we're trying to get to for this?
Yeah,
quest?
this is the village that Mira visited the day before. This is where the miners live.
Yes, I mean, I'll very slowly head that way.
Okay.
Cautiously, on guard.
Sure enough, as you approach, there's a deafening silence to the place. Mira, you recognize this as being different from the day before because while most of the population of the town works in the mine during the day, there are still some people who stay in the village and do different trades that service the mine. Refining the rock itself to get the copper out, constructing tools for use in the mine, things like that.
I mentioned this to Malcolm that it wasn't like this yesterday, the day before.
So, I ask, like, how many people were here the day before? Like, was it like 20 people? How do they just up and go missing? Maybe I'd like to do a check to see if maybe we see footprints or something. Like, did we see a bunch of people that like just took off and left, or were they taken?
Roll. So you're not into the town proper yet, right? You're still on the outskirts.
Correct.
Okay. Roll a. We'll call this investigation. And as far as Mir's answer to your question, during the day, there's at least 20 or so people milling about outside doing various things.
Echo's gonna check too. She got a 23.
23. There is tons of footprints left in the snow from them, sloshing about back and forth throughout the village that you can see from the distance. That's about all you can tell before you actually proceed into town. But it also has not snowed since yesterday, or actually past few days.
What do you guys think? We just go into town?
I don't think we have much of a choice.
Yeah.
Gonna go into the town then.
Okay. As you actually proceed into the town, you notice that these footprints are essentially frozen. They were made sometime before, probably yesterday, and they have, they've been baked in by the sun. You know how it gets when you make footprints in the snow; it doesn't snow again, and the sun melts it and it refreezes. So essentially, footprints preserved in ice. Nothing recent, as far as you can tell.
The fuck?
Any more recent than yesterday.
It's like it doesn't look like a bunch of people just left, but they're not here.
Right. The footprints do not proceed out of town, which in of itself is fairly normal because this is, there's people generally don't leave the town for much. The only footprints in and out of town at the moment are the ones left by Mira and Echo from the day before.
Is the mine in town?
You can
or
see
is it
a rock.
adjacent to the town?
It's directly behind the town. The trail brings you up to the south side of the buildings, and up behind it you can see not mountains but like rocky formations, and the mine entrance is just behind the town. But as you get closer, you confirm none of these chimneys are letting off smoke to keep the people who would be inside warm. There is no activity outside of the buildings.
You guys think we should check one of the buildings?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So you pick a random building and proceed towards it?
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like does it look like a specific one be like a forge or a shop or something that would be more apt to have somebody in it, like working?
Yeah, easy enough. You can pick out the local blacksmith's shop. The forge itself is cold and unlit. You want to proceed towards the dwelling attached to it?
Yeah.
Okay. Most of these houses have a small, porch-like attachment near the front door. And as you approach the front door of what appears to be the blacksmith's home/shop, you notice that what you thought was a small embankment of snow up on the porch that had been blown up by the wind is actually layer upon layer of thick, silky strands of material, like layers and layers of spider web.
I whip out one of my daggers and carefully try to slice it open without stabbing whatever might be inside of it.
Let's see. Roll a strength check with the dagger. You can add proficiency, of course. But yeah, roll a strength check as you try to slice into it.
That would be 17.
17. All right. You're able to, slice your way into it. There's nothing beneath it. It looks as if this material was just shot up and stuck into the corner between the floor of the porch and the wall of the structure.
Malcolm is going to just start shaking his head and just say no, 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 no. Because this is very reminiscent of spider silk to him. And he has flashbacks to another mine fight with a spider that did not give him any quarter.
As you turn around to express this apprehension, you notice Echo is staring off in the opposite direction at another small stone building.
I would like to approach the building that she's staring at.
And we also ask her, did something catch your attention?
Yes, I swear I saw the curtain on that window move.
Okay, be careful, Mira.
I'm pretty sure you've got my back from way over there.
Alright, Mira, as you approach the front door of this building, which is fairly towards the back of the small collection of buildings that makes up the village, you notice the same splotch of filament against the door. In the way that it landed here, it's actually holding the door shut. Would you like to take a closer look?
Yes.
Okay, roll an investigation check.
Okay. $18 total.
Okay. As you approach, you notice in addition to footprints going up to the front of this door, you also see handprints. As if somebody walking towards the door stumbled and landed on their hands and had to push themselves up. And among the filament that's holding this door, gluing this door essentially to the ground, you notice there's a shoe inside of it.
I'm gonna slowly, no, I don't have daggers. I'm gonna rip it.
Just gonna rip it out.
That
Roll a
was a
strength check. Yep.
No, not the shoe. I'm gonna start ripping the filament.
Oh, okay. Yep, you can try that.
I rolled D20, right?
Yep. Plus your strength modifier.
Which is doing that. I can't see if that was a 6 or a 9.
Did you roll it on D&D Beyond?
Yes, I did. Like I said, I'm having an issue with my phone. It keeps bringing up. We disabled voice activity detection
That's
to
a
improve.
9.
Okay. I keep having this pop up. And it's just annoying.
Was that a strength check?
Yeah, 19.
So, yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah, you're able to pull the stuff up. It is very, very strong, very sticky. When you do finally pull the wad off the door, your hands stick to your chest and you have to peel your hands out of it, and there's just this wad of filament stuck to your breastplate. But you have successfully freed the door of the majority of the filament. And, the shoe's stuck there too. You have a shoe stuck to your chest.
Okay, fine, cool.
You busted the wad all over your chest plate.
Alright, so the door is free. You are in possession of one leather shoe.
That is fantastic.
Well, I have no other weapons other than the sword. I didn't want to slice through in case somebody was there.
In case their foot was still there. There's not a person in the shoe. The door is closed. But it looks like the door may have been closed after that filament was shot in that general direction, and it was all the owner could do to slip out of the shoe and get the door closed.
Right. I would like to knock on the door and ask if anybody's okay.
You knock on the door, and there is no reply.
I'm coming in.
Alright. Swing the door open.
Yep.
Oh, gotta raise the font on that. I'm not gonna be able to do it. Inside, you find a single room that takes up the whole footprint of the building. Most of the space is filled with various workbenches with shallow, unbacked shelves on top of many of them. The shelves on the workbenches are filled with open beakers and vials, many connected to each other with rubber tubing. Some of the workbenches have heating flasks sitting on burners, but instead of a candle holder that is typically used in this kind of work, these rigs sit over a valved opening of some sort attached to rubber tubing as well. The tubing of these burners all run in the same direction, and following them with your eyes, you notice for the first time why the interior of the building is relatively warm in spite of the lack of smoke coming out of the chimney. Inside the fireplace is an unspectacular but warm flame that seems to be fueled by thin air and doesn't produce the dark smoke of a wood fire.
Nice. Interesting little invention.
The arrangement of the room in the tight quarters suggests the resident is an apothecary or an alchemist. But the building does not seem to be a storefront of any kind. The only things in the room that do not seem dedicated strictly to the work is a modest bed that's barely visible in the back corner, and a bowl of vibrant yellow lemons sitting in a bowl on a table about halfway into the room. Just so you guys know, the fireplace is extremely fascinating to you because it's not something that you guys have seen before. A fire in a fireplace that does not seem to be magical, as far as you can tell, but still seems to be fueled by nothing but air. There's no sign of a flammable liquid or material sustaining the flame, but it is successfully heating the home or the workshop.
So we still haven't seen anybody here?
Yeah, I still don't see no one hiding.
Roll a perception check. It's a very cluttered room, so there's no you can't see anybody out in the open, at least. And would you like to step deeper into the room while making this check?
Yes.
Okay. So roll your perception check.
That's a okay, so that's a perception check. So, hold on. $17 total.
17 total. Okay. As you move into the room trying to find any evidence of somebody being in there, about the time you reach halfway into the building, you hear the grinding of wooden legs against the floor and the sound of broken glass followed by barely audible shit. What do you do?
I tell him to, stay where he is. I'm not here to hurt him. That I want to know what happened.
Do you approach the sound, or do you stay where you are as well?
I stay where I am to show that I mean no harm.
Okay.
I think we would. I think we would. I personally would take a line from the movie Bad Boys, and be like, "Don't be alarmed. We're heroes."
I have not seen Bad Boys in a long time.
All right. So either Mira, you can roll persuasion with advantage, or you and Malcolm can roll persuasion, whichever way you want to do it.
Persuasion with advantage.
Okay.
$14.
14. Okay, it takes a few moments, but after a long, uncomfortable beat, you see a figure rise up behind one of the workbenches towards the back, and kind of stare. You get the impression he's staring at you through the shelf, but you can't quite make him out through all the beakers and everything else. And after a few moments, he timidly steps out into the main aisleway between all of the workbenches, and a slumped over, very scrawny human man, probably mid-30s, with very curly dark brown hair and round glasses, makes himself visible. Who are you? What do you want? And why do you have my shoe on your chest?
When I was taking the webbing off the door, it got stuck to me.
What are you here for?
My name is Mira. My name is Mira. I came here a few days ago for the contract of...
You're the huntsman that was here yesterday.
Yes.
Oh. I see. And who are these people with you? I recognize that one, the Elvish one. Yes. But I don't know these two.
They are my friends, my colleagues. They help me when things are tough.
Okay. He kind of tries to step forward. He is a ball of nerves, shaking from head to toe. As he steps forward, he actually bumps into the bowl of lemons sitting on the workbench, and very quickly grabs the bowl to keep it from falling over, straightens it up, and pushes it back from the edge. My name is Sonny Jepson. I'm an alchemist, an experimental alchemist. I didn't want any trouble. I barely made it in. See, after you left, well, you told the foreman about what was in the caves. Fisher, I think he called it.
Yes.
Yeah. So he, after you left, he gathered the village for a meeting, and I really didn't want any trouble. I see there's what I call a natural gas deposit in this mine. It is useful to my work. It allows me to do many things, including create flame without a lot more of the harmful byproducts. It killed several people in the mine when it was first discovered, but I was able to harness it, and I also created a solvent that allowed them to more easily refine the copper from the rock, and they allow me to stay here and do my work, and they don't bother me. I don't do well with people. And distractions, and a temporary community like this, very small, made sense for me. So I was here to do my work, but they always drag me into these meetings when they have them, and I guess he found a book about what you said was in the caves and the mines, and he seemed to think that all of the miners together in force could take on this creature, and he said the insides of this creature were valuable enough to make the village more money than they would in several months of mining with much less difficulty, he said. So all of the miners went in, and some of the other village folk who were capable of fighting, and not very many of them came back. And I thought about leaving then. I was very much thinking about leaving then, and I was just trying to make up my mind. But last night, it came out. It was no longer in the mine. It was in the village, not in the mine. It was in the village, and it was trapping people. And when it didn't get me, it got my shoe, but it didn't get me. And I think it took them away, because I do not see any of them outside anymore, and I couldn't get the door open. So I thought about going out the big window in the back, and he points over by the bed. There's a much larger window than the one in front that Echo had seen the curtain move on. I thought about I was going to go out the back window, but when I opened it, I saw two very unpleasant looking people looking at me, or at the village, but I felt like they were looking at me, and I didn't know what they would do. It's a long way back to Anexa on foot, and they were standing on top of the rocks, way above the mines, and looking down on us, and I decided I was not going out that way. So that's why I'm still here. I'm working on something to clear the door, something to melt the sticky stuff that got my shoe. I was hoping to get my shoe. Can I have my shoe back?
I was going to say, as he's talking and mentioned the shoe, I reach over and just rip it off of her breastplate and hand it to him.
Okay, this is a weird one. I need you and Mira to both make strength checks. Yours to pull it off her breastplate, hers to not get pulled forward as you're doing it.
Oh man, I almost had a nat 20. Damn it. 21.
Okay. Mira, what's your strength check?
18. Oh no.
Opposing strength checks, I pulled you forward and you have the plus 10 strength. Jesus.
So Unfortunately, in the process, you kind of yank her across the room, and as she goes flying forward and the momentum changes and she's falling away from you, you manage to pry the shoe off, and she almost flies into poor Sunny.
Oh, God!
Sometimes I don't know my own strength.
Alright, so you have his shoe.
I go ahead and toss it to him and tell him that he doesn't have to worry about dissolving the stuff off the doorway.
Okay, so as you toss the shoe, he is way too clumsy to catch it. It hits the bowl of lemons, which he, instead of going for the shoe, he goes for the lemons and stops the bowl from falling over.
What's so important about those lemons?
Important, though not important. Dangerous, very dangerous lemons. Combustible lemons.
Oh, shit!
Is that what you're working on? Exploding fruit?
When life gives you lemons.
Make lemon bombs?
Make life take the lemons back.
This is a very old project. Was for friend. I did not realize he was dying. He was very, very sick, and I didn't know why he asked for it. But he wanted combustible lemons, so I worked on them and I made them. But then he died, and I don't know what to do with them. They're here and they're dangerous, and I'm so worried they're going to burn down my house. I don't want to live here anymore anyway. But this combined with the stuff that's coming into the fireplace there, big boom. Very bad. I really don't want these to be here, but I have to keep them from falling because they are dangerous.
This guy's nervous energy just starts to get under Malcolm's skin. Malcolm gingerly grabs the bowl of lemons and takes it outside.
That is better. That is better. Less dangerous out there than in here. In here, boom.
Malcolm, don't throw the lemons. I know what you're thinking.
How explosive are these lemons?
Are you asking him?
Those into the prison?
Are you asking him or are you asking me?
No, I'm taking the whole thing outside. I'm just gonna take one of them and just throw it, like outside the town.
Yeah, you okay? So you chuck it. It is obviously it's not something that you can very accurately throw. So you kind of lob it in a general direction. Doesn't land exactly where you intended for it to land, but close enough. And the second it hits the ice, there's a small explosion of fire that covers about 10 feet in each direction, and for mechanics' sake, it does about 1d10 damage in that immediate area.
Oh, that's nothing. This guy's freaking out over freaking baby lemons.
Yeah, but if they fell inside his workshop with all the natural gas, that would be pretty bad.
Oh, we're gonna take these to the mine and just fucking throw one in the natural gas reservoir in the mine.
Oh my god!
Oh, so we're ending the campaign here.
That'll take care of the cave fisher.
Along with any survivors.
And us.
Thank you for taking lemons out there. I would like to leave now. Are the people gone? They looked very unpleasant.
Do you know what they were wearing?
The sun was behind them, and they were just black figures, very big, muscular, like you. They were on horses. That's all I know. As soon as I saw them, I closed the window and I hid behind the workbench. And I've been there. I've been there ever since.
Well, we haven't seen anybody else, so
You can stay here once we're done taking care of this. We can try and give you a ride back to town.
I don't want to go back to Anexa, but I don't want to stay here. So that would work. You, what are you doing here? Are you still going in after the creature?
Yes, I'm going to end this creature once and for all.
I don't do well with people. I don't like many of them. Except for my friend who wanted the lemons, but he's dead. But I feel like they couldn't have eaten all of them. So some of the miners, even though they did a stupid thing, they might be alive and definitely like the blacksmith, and he didn't deserve to be eaten. But they were stuck in the web, so they couldn't get away. Maybe the solvent I was working on, maybe that's something you could use when you're in there. I don't have a lot of it, but I should have enough for you to free anybody who might be alive, who haven't been eaten.
Yeah, I can use that.
Okay, here, you take it. I don't charge anything. Just, save the people who are alive. That I'm a good person. I don't like people, but, they didn't deserve to be eaten. I don't want to keep thinking about people being eaten. It's very unpleasant. So, yes, you take this, and he hands you about 4 wine bottle-sized vessels with a cork in them. And so you have a solvent that will get through the filament fairly easily. I haven't really been able to test it out, but I'm pretty good at what I do, and I think it'll work. If you put it on a rag or something, you can rub it on the filament, and it should start to pull away or be easier to break. And yes, you take that and you go and you save the people who aren't eaten, the ones who are alive, and then you come back and you take me away, so the men or women or the people, whoever was on top of the rocks, they don't hurt me.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Yes. So you have that. Sunny will stay safe here. No one will hurt Sunny. No one will eat Sunny. Sunny will stop thinking about being eaten, and the creature and the people on the rocks. And you don't tell anybody I'm here. And
no, I won't tell anybody you're here.
And then I leave like I wasn't ever here. Thank you. I don't do well with people. You're okay. He still scares me a little bit. I tell him
I'm not even in the room. So
he points out the door towards he throws. I tell him the lemons explode, and he throws them. I didn't even tell him how big explosion was. It could have been. We could all be dead.
Malcolm tends to act and ask questions later.
He looks over at Zuko. You're blue. That's interesting. Not most people aren't blue. That's interesting. Never seen that before. And you're not really people, are you? No, you're not from this place. He's referring to Echo there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have met all of you, and you have saved my shoe. Thank you for saving my shoe. You go, you take the stuff, and you save the people in the mine, and then you don't tell anybody Sunny's here. And
has Xanax been invented in this world yet?
No. This guy is dealing with issues without medication.
That is very interesting. I think I met someone that was like that a long time ago.
Alright, so he kind of like nudges you, Zuko, and Echo towards the door. You go, you save the people.
Yep.
Sunny stays here. Okay, bye. Don't forget come back and get me.
We're gonna come back and get him. He's gonna have to ride behind me on the way back.
No, he's not. Be nice. Be nice.
And I'm gonna make him hold the bowl of lemons.
So mean.
All right, so he gestures you out the door, quickly closes it behind you, and you assume goes back into his hiding spot. So, Mira, while having this conversation, you think back to what you found in the cave, and you start questioning yourself, is this really a cave fisher? Because most of it makes sense. The tracks look like a cave fisher. The filament seems like a cave fisher. The description that the miners gave of what they saw lurking through the shadows sounds like a cave fisher. But cave fishers are not this aggressive. They're not this strategic. A cave fisher is like an eat what it catches immediately kind of creature. It doesn't generally capture and keep. And it generally doesn't go after things like humans. It knows that they're bigger and stronger than their usual prey, and it certainly would not be as aggressive as coming out of the mines onto the surface and capturing people and bringing them back. Something's off.
I think it's being controlled. It would make sense considering he saw people outside on the rocks.
That kind of makes sense with the way you're describing it.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anybody have anything else to add to that before you guys proceed?
Because also, why else would it capture more people than it's willing to eat? Because I mean, it's right. A creature, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason why it would capture half a village.
Well, and Mira, you think the only time you can think of that a fisher would keep food rather than eat it immediately, still not generally in this kind of quantity, and certainly not this aggressively, but they do sometimes preserve live meals when they have young ready to hatch.
Oh shit.
Cave fisher young are like tarantula-sized creatures, and they're born in hundreds, even thousands sometimes, and they will save food, but again, they don't generally go out hunting humans on the surface to drag them back to their nest. That's way too strategic, way too smart for this creature, and way too aggressive. They are not that brave.
So I might be right. It might be being controlled.
Very possible.
By who? I don't know, but I want to find out.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
All right, proceeding into the mine. All right.
You doing all right, Jake?
I know he was asking about when we think we're going to be done. Are we actually going to do combat tonight, or are we just going to kind of...
No. Yeah, that would take too long.
No, that would take too long.
Yeah. So you guys...
So probably about another 10 minutes or so, probably, I'm guessing Jake will probably just play up to the combat.
Hang in there, buddy.
Assuming he hasn't fallen asleep already.
I think he did that once already, didn't he?
Yeah, he did that a couple times in person. Fell asleep on the couch. Okay, I think we may have lost Jake, so we will wrap up as soon as we get into the mine here. Alright, so you go back towards the rock formations behind the village, and you enter the large opening, which has tracks coming out of it for fresh ore that's been dug out. It's not a very structured entrance or even tunnels like you found in Red Valley. This is a very quick and dirty operation that probably will last about 10 years total, 10 to 15. They know that it's a very sparse resource, and that's why the village is so small, and why this is considered a temporary settlement. But as soon as you enter the first split, you reach one path leads up to an iron wall that seems to be sealed into the passageway, and out of it there is more tubing that runs out along the wall out of the mine, and you presume towards Sonny's shop. So your only option is to go off towards the left, following the tracks down into the mine. There are several splits along the way, but between Zuko, Mira, and Echo, I believe she has some tracking abilities as well, you are easily able to see the drag marks and the leftover filament that on the floor of the mine, and follow the path that this thing took as it dragged the remnants of the villagers into the mine. After following along several splits and down several pathways that bring you deeper underground, you find your way to the lowest part of the mine, and where the mine intersects with a natural cave. You continue following these tracks until you enter a large opening in the cave. Before even crossing the threshold, you can tell that most of the walls are covered in this filament. There are a few openings that seem to lead towards the surface that let in some light and shine it on some of the more distant areas, and you can see a lot of filament, almost cocoons, and human faces sticking out of these. Most of them kind of sealed up against the wall or the corners. And in between them you can see these large lumpy sacks that covered in little round bumps. Across the room, or this large opening in the cave, you see one of the people trapped in these sacks move a little bit and calls out for help. They sense that there is more people in the room, and they call out for help. What do you do? I'm sorry, I didn't even figure out a marching order. What order are you coming up to this room anyway?
Well, I think Meat Shield Mira is going to be up front. I could probably go right behind her, I'm assuming. How wide is the hallway?
You can stand about 2 wide in the hall, in the the quote-unquote hallway, the cave that leads up, and then it expands out and upward and around. It's a semicircular opening in the cave, about hold on. What's 24 times 5?
$90? No. Just
No.
under 90. 95?
Check it. Got my calculator up
Okay,
anyway.
5 times 4 is 20. You carry over the 2, that's 10 plus 2, 125?
120.
Right.
So about 120 feet. It's almost like imperfect, but an almost circular opening in the cave, and it is about a 120-foot radius.
So I'm going to walk next to Mira. In the hallway. And my spider PTSD Like, I'm looking everywhere, like ceiling, everywhere for something.
Okay, so you have your goggles on, right?
Yeah.
Roll a perception check.
Perception 18.
18. Okay. You look around the room. Again, you can see the webbing on the walls. You can see the people who are trapped. You can see what looks very much like egg sacs in several different places. You cannot quite see the ceiling. The only thing you can see some of the... Crap, I can never remember which one's which. Stalactites? Coming into the outer range of your vision in the dark.
Yeah, stalactites are the ceiling.
Yeah. You can see stalactites and parts of the ceiling that come down, but the good majority of the ceiling is outside of the 60 feet of your dark vision. And of course, the room is if not for the light coming through some of the holes in the ceiling, you wouldn't even be able to see the opposite wall.
Malcolm just knows something is cave fishy.
Should we fight this bastard or free the people first?
I mean, you could probably go up and try to free one of the people. Or if people are calling out, say, is that Jake, like, half asleep?
That's what it sounded like.
I guess we could actually, like, call out from the people. Where is it?
You just hear the voice call out again, help. It seems groggy and kind of only semi-conscious of where it is. Or where they are. I don't know why I called the person in it.
That is definitely Jake snoring.
Poor Jake.
Really adds to the entertainment value of our stream.
That's one of the people across the wall, stuck to the wall, snoring away.
You do get the vague impression from the people that you can see that they are alive, just most of them are unconscious.
Right.
Do we actually like see the one that's coming out, or is it just like a voice in the dark?
Just like a voice in the dark, right?
No, this one actually, he is fairly, like I said, there are some holes in the ceiling that lead to the surface and let some light in, and one of the beams of light is actually shining down very close to the one that's calling out.
Is it? Oh, is it? Just happens to be a beam of light shining on the guy calling out for help.
I'm with Malcolm on this one. That's pretty sus.
Now, what reason have I ever given you guys not to trust me?
Are you fucking kidding me?
So what do you guys do?
1 second. Well, I am.
Man, I swear to God, we were having all the laughs last session, and now he's getting all the laughs because he's like, yeah, fuck you guys.
You know what really sucks is you have someone in the party that could really help you out right now, being, the champion of light. But he's asleep.
What? Jake, wake up!
1 second. I'm checking. You would think that. Does she have anything? I would think maybe she has like a feature or a trait. It doesn't look like it. Oh, she has dark vision, but that doesn't help really. What if Mira turns her hair on, doesn't that brighten up the area directly around us?
Right?
Yeah, I
Would it
can't
make me
remember
able to
what.
see further into the cave?
Let's.
Well,
see.
what's the spell called? Hold on. Beep.
She has a spell called. Oh, it's part of her race. Yeah, daylight. She can light up 60. A 60-foot radius.
So if she did that, then my dark vision would be extended beyond the daylight part, right?
Let me double. Like, sphere of light, surrounding point you choose within. She can actually.
She could actually throw daylight like up.
Okay, I think we set it. Hold on, this list.
You choose a point on the object. Careful.
Yeah, I think for flavor we made it her hair, but technically the spell allows her to choose a point within 60
If you
feet.
hold or if it's not being worn or carried.
What sucks is if Jake was awake, he could light up an arrow and create a ball of light around it and then launch it into any part of the cave he wanted to.
I mean, technically, Mira has a crossbow, right?
Yep.
So
I do.
she could cast daylight on her crossbow bolt and shoot it up into a stalactite.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
All right, so that's what you do, Mira?
Yep.
All right, so Mira loads a crossbow bolt into her crossbow, fires it up into the ceiling, and then casts daylight on the bolt sticking out of the stalactite, and the upper portion of the room is immediately lit up with bright light. And there, in the center of the ceiling, with filament dangling down into the center of the cave, is a large albino crab-like monster with 6 legs? I think it's 6 legs. Hanging from the ceiling, and as the light comes in, it winces and then lets out a loud screech. And when we come back in 2 weeks, we will roll initiative. Alright, so that is going to be it for us.
Why did we know that the fucking thing was on the ceiling, though?
Because spiders. I swear that whenever we fought the last spider, it was like up in the ceiling, and we all like walked down in the middle of the freaking room.
No,
And then-
you stayed on the ledge, and I think me and Zuko went down.
Yeah, and I think the only reason you could even see that one was because the ceiling wasn't 60 feet above you. Yeah, he was actually trying to do his Cape Fisher trick. He had the filament hanging down in the center of the room. If one of you had ran through the wrong part of the room, you would have gotten snagged up in it.
But I learned from my mistakes, and I don't make the same mistake twice when it comes to spiders.
So,
Jasper was definitely an attest to that mistake because we fucking killed him. And it didn't do shit, and this time we actually made sure he was dead.
Alright, so when we return in 2 weeks, the Regulators will fight this Cave Fisher, see what is in store for them, as they're a little different than seemingly a little different than the normal breed, more aggressive and braver. But we will find out how that works out and see what they learn from this encounter. And then sometime not too long after that, they will be heading to the prison. So that is it for tonight. Again, this coming Tuesday, will be 90s Night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll play some more Super Mario RPG. Make sure you follow Bold Wolf Gaming's social media pages to keep up to date on my ever-changing schedule. But if we do not see you in the meantime, we will see you in a couple weeks on the 11th if all goes to plan. And until then, have a good night.